coverage you can count on. This is On the Record with Barbara Gaucher.
Hello and welcome to On the Record. I'm Barbara Gaucher. We're counting down to Election Day, May 19th, helping you get to know the candidates running for City Council in Columbus and where they stand on issues important to you. Today, we're hearing from candidates in District 7, which encompasses the southwestern part of the city. Candidates vying for that seat are Letha Ash, Chiara Richardson, and Becca Zajac. We learn more about their backgrounds, how that prepares them for the City Council, and why they think voters should choose them. And we're joined now by Letha Ash. She's the candidate for City Council District 7. And thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for this opportunity of having me.
Well, you describe yourself in your literature as a community leader, entrepreneur, and insurance professional, just to name a few. You're also studying for your doctorate in psychology. Tell us more about your background and how that prepares you for this position as a city councilor.
Yes, just a little bit about me, and that sums it up in a nutshell. But pretty much, that's exactly what I am. I'm more for the community than any title or anything that I have done because I live in this community. You know, so I know who knows best what you want without being somebody who's in this community, have been rooted in this and invested in this community. But yeah, pretty much that sums it up. I have got my master's in psychology, currently seeking my doctorate. I do have a nonprofit, which is my Still Standing initiative that involves pretty much community. We do a lot of, people kind of get mixed up because I do a lot of fashion. I'm a fashion designer as well.
Okay.
So people take and use that and, you know, kind of mix it up. But it's employing community. It's rebuilding. It's restoring. It does all those things that we're looking for within District 7 already.
Yeah. Before we get too far into the interview, I want to just bring this up because this is something that has been out there on circulating on social media, talked about in the community. That has to do with you reportedly having a felony arrest record. And you have addressed this yourself in social media posts. So I want to give you the opportunity here to set the record straight. Tell us what happened and what you want people to know.
Absolutely. It was over 30 years ago. I was actually still on. I feel like anything before 21, like I tell my kids, that's your teens. Yeah. You know, that's your chance to make those mistakes and get it right. But I was charged with some crimes back before I was even 21, before I was even 20, per se. And that's been over 30 years ago. And yes, it was a hurtful thing. I regret it. However, those charges were dismissed. And I believe in this point of rebuilding, growth. What did you learn from it? And that was one thing, you know, that I feel like I disappointed my mom, my family, and different ones back then. And that alone, you know, taught me to go into the right direction. I never wanted to experience nothing like that ever again. So since that time, no one, you know, could pull up anything. When I addressed it, pull my record, fact check me. I, you know, have multiple licenses and multiple degrees. And if you know anything about the state of Georgia, as well as Florida and all the other states that I'm licensed in, that's a big thing of having a clean background. You cannot be in financial services without a clean background. So with those allegations, I treat them as those things that come in. People are really worried about me. I might be really a threat to those. So they really come in and try to distract and do that. But my focus is on the people, what we need as a community in this district. So yes, we've addressed it and we won't address that anymore. Our concern is community now.
Yeah, you come in and as you said here, people overlook what you do after you make a mistake.
Right, definitely. And it's like nobody look at, oh, she's been paying taxes for 26 years here in Muskogee County. Yeah. Oh, she's lived outstanding. She's empowered. She started this initiative to help out with the community. All these things that I do good, people overlook. Yeah. I don't think I've seen one post highlighting those, you know, positives. Yeah. But you would take that negative and try to disrupt and try to sway someone on a opposite side that, hey, this is an evil person. No, we're not going to have any fiascos. We're not going to have any situation once I am in that office. You know, it would all be about the people of District 7.
Let's get to those issues then, too, because that's important. What do you see as the most important issues facing Columbus, and how do you want to address them?
I mean, it's several issues. People might talk about the crime, the affordable housing, it's so many issues that face us. But I even want to go back to what I see. And a lot of times it's this accessibility. It's not so much of those issues, it's the community knowing, or even being able to relate to those issues. Sometimes they don't even know what's going on, so they see these things in the media or they see these things on social media, and then they just go and form their own opinions. So having somebody in that seat that's accessible, that can come and knock on your door and talk to you and say, you have any questions? What is the concerns for you? What is it that you're feeling? How can I be of service to you? I want to bridge that gap between City Hall and the community. Some people in the community that I live in, they don't have the access to make it to Macon Road to the City Hall meetings every Tuesday or every, other Tuesday. But I want to be that one that not only get that information, but bring it back to them. Knock on the door, have those meetings and say, hey, I'm having this meeting right here in this area. I'm accessible. Any questions that you have, anything that we can take back. So that's more of the things that I'm.
So accessibility.
Yes, that's the main thing. You asked what was one of the main things, and that's one of the main things that I can see as a community that we're lacking right now is that accessibility.
All right, we are about out of time, and I want to give you the opportunity to wrap everything up and tell people why it is that you think they should vote for you for this district.
Yes, I really feel, again, my name's Letha Ash, and I'm running for District 7 City Council seat. And I believe that people deserve somebody who's accessible, who's accountable, who's committed to, who will take themselves to bridge that gap between City Hall and the people. And I'm that person. So that's why, first and foremost, and not only that, I've been doing this work. This is not about an election. I've been doing this work all along. So it's no new thing when somebody asks, what about Letha Ash? And this is my third race. I ran for this seat 2022 and only was, I don't like the word lost because it was a win because I gained so much from that election, but was defeated by roughly about 78, 80 votes, something like that. Ran again in 2023 for the school board election after Kathy Williams came out. And that vote, I was lost by 2. And that's what a lot of people knows me by. Well, she was the one that lost by 2 votes. We have to be involved. We have to. And if that's what it takes to get people out there to vote, that's what I would like to just leave to the viewers, just to get out and vote, and your vote counts.
We'll have more from candidates in District 7 coming up after the break.
And joining us now is Chiara Richardson. She's a candidate for City Council District 7 in Columbus. Chiara, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Well, good to see you. Let's talk about your background a little bit. You do marketing for educational institutions, nonprofits, some political organizations as well. Tell us more about your background and how that prepares you for to be a city councilor.
For sure. It has certainly connected me with residents, with people, with business owners, and community leaders. It's a role that has really allowed me to learn to listen and to hear people's voices, but to also be able to tell a story with it, to allow people to engage and interact in a different way. So I think that that's pretty important to being a representative for people, is listening and being able to engage.
As I was just talking to you, you were talking about your background and the arts and you being a performer and spoken word. When you talk about Columbus and the art scene here, what are your thoughts about it, and how would you like to see that move forward in the city?
Yes, I love that the art scene here is growing. I love that CSU theater department is downtown. I love that, there's some investment into the Liberty Theater, which was probably one of my biggest contributors to me being an artist. So I look forward to it being a space like it was before, and giving young artists the opportunity to grow. And I feel like without that space, I wouldn't be audacious enough to be in this space. So I just wish that for other young people to have a safe space to create and to grow and to learn and be able to be greater than they could possibly even imagine for themselves.
Yeah, I think so many people would like to see the Liberty Theater in that district restored back to, that the grandeur that it once had. Let's talk about the issues now. If you are elected to the council, what do you see as the top issues facing Columbus and some of the solutions?
Well, one of the things that I have been noticing, especially as of recent, is a disconnect between residents and city government. And so I've always considered myself to be a dot connector. And so I look forward to being able to help our residents to feel more informed and empowered and have a place and a voice in how this community shifts and change. Also, particularly in District 7, for me, what kind of catapulted me into wanting to represent this district is I had the fortune of living on one side of Whitten Road, next to Lake Bottom, and there are shops and grocery store, and everything is in a walking distance. And then a personal incident happened, and I ended up moving to the other side of Whitten Road, and that quality of life is quite different. And so for me, that's challenging to accept at face value. And I'm a person who I readily admit I love to complain, but I also have always told myself, if you're going to complain, then you need to get to a point, what are you going to do about it? And so this is my what are you going to do about it phase. And I really do want to be a voice for our community. And so not just one side of the district is thriving, but it to be a place where it's thriving for all of the residents that live there.
And that disparity that so many people still see, even though there's lots of efforts, it seems, to bring more things to the South Side, but that disparity is still a big issue for the city. Do you have specific ideas in mind on things that you could do to help to work to change that?
Right. So I think that people knowing who represent them, people understanding how the process of government works is very important. It's key. It's the beginning. So I look forward to helping to create a connection with the residents so they are aware of, I represent you, here are the issues, here are the channels that we can work through to change those things. But I also look forward to being a hands-on leader. I've always learned that leaders lead from the front and not from the back. And so I look forward to working alongside in service.
Yeah. In your campaign information, you said this campaign is rooted in something simple but powerful, listening to the people who live here and working together to move our community forward. And you feel like people maybe in this district have not been listened to in the past. Is that what that means? And
I think that's part of it, but I've been in a lot of meetings lately that we have some concerns and growing issues. And to me, I think it's just important that residents know without a shadow of a doubt that their voice matters and they're being heard and not overlooked. So I think that has played a part of it. I'm for sure not, Columbus has changed a lot, grown significantly, but there's still work to be done. And so I look forward to being able to contribute to that work.
Back on the issues, the United Way with Georgia Tech just recently released a study that showed that affordable housing is such a huge issue for the city. Your thoughts on that and solutions that you might see available for that?
I do think that having affordable housing is it's a base. It's imperative. And working in education, I've come from that lens of seeing when children have stability and where they're going at night, where they're laying their heads at, they're going to perform better. They're going to show up better. When people have housing security, I can go to work confidently. I can be, a better participant in my own community. So for me, affordable housing is imperative. It's a need that we must work towards solving readily for people.
Yeah. Also, too, another big issue for people is public safety. Your thoughts on how, that the city stands in that department, and what you'd like to see on the public safety front?
I would like to see more collaboration. I've sat on meetings where I may have been the only community member there, and then we have, those that serve us on the police force that are there to connect, right? But how can we connect if we're not showing up? So I think that it's a two-part, problem. We have our role to play as citizens, and then there's a collaboration with those who are protecting us.
All right, final, just a few seconds here. Just give us, again, tell us why folks should vote for you.
Well, I am running for City Council District 7 because I believe that District 7 deserves leadership that is willing to listen, that is willing to make a connection for them, and that is also willing to work alongside.
Stay with us. More from District 7 hopefuls when we come back.
And joining us now is Becca Zajac. She is a candidate for District 7, Columbus City Council. Becca, thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, we're going to start. You are currently executive director of Dragonfly Trails, Inc. Before that, you were vice president of marketing events and community relations for Uptown Columbus, Inc. What more do you want us to know about your background and things you've done in Columbus and how that prepares you for this position on council?
Yeah, I think this is really important. So my two positions that you mentioned, Uptown Columbus, Inc., so that's the nonprofit that works downtown, attracting events, local small businesses, and then really keeping downtown safe and clean. And then Dragonfly is a nonprofit as well that works with the city to implement a trail plan. So if you think of like the Riverwalk or the Fall Line Trace, we're trying to put trails all over Muskogee County so people have access, a way to get to work, to get to school, a place to recreate, etc. So those two particular roles that I've had have given me really firsthand experience working with the city. I've developed ordinances, I've written MOUs, I understand the city's budgeting process and what departments do and how they do it. And I think that experience is unlike any other candidate running. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm running. I feel very well prepared with my professional experience to serve on city council.
Yeah, everybody sees that Dragonfly Trail, the bridge, the railroad bridge, and coming out of that, and the beautiful lights, and it's very colorful.
Yeah, and so I will just add, Dragonfly is not just the trail system. It's really thinking about quality of life. So how do we activate the trails with some of those lights, or the murals on A.J. McClung, or the mural on the Riverwalk? I mean, that is part of what I love to do for this community, and I look to do more of on city council.
Well, you touched on this a little bit, but tell us why you're not a Columbus native.
Correct.
You've lived here for many years. Why you decided to run for office at this time?
Yeah. When I moved to Columbus over a decade ago, I did not see myself serving in a city council role or frankly living here very long. I was absolutely blown away by this community. The people in it are so special. They care so much about this place, and they just want it to be better. And so I felt like I had and have a lot of mentors in my life that helped me see the value of community and really investing your time and effort in building the community that you want your friends and family to live in. And so really my passion for Columbus, and specifically District 7, most of my entire time here, I've lived or worked in District 7. So between kind of my love for the people here and wanting to make sure that they are fairly represented, and my work experience, I kind of felt like the two of those coupled makes me a really good candidate for city council. And right now in my personal life, this is the time. I feel like collectively Columbus has kind of 5 big city council seats up. We're going to get a new mayor. We're going to get a city manager. Yeah. As a community, we have got to get the right leadership in those roles. It is so pivotal. I think the direction of Columbus for the next 10 years is who we put in these leadership seats. And I truly believe I am one of the best candidates for running for city council.
Yeah, it's a very important election, no doubt.
Yep.
So, Becca, what do you see as the top issues facing the city, and what are some of your solutions for those issues?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I think collaboration. Just the level of collaboration between city council and city staff, the level of collaboration between city councilors and their constituents. I think we've got to strengthen that level of communication. Transparency is a word lots of people say, but really communicating opportunities and decisions back and forth between those bodies. My kind of 4 main areas that I'm running on are economic development in South Columbus. So right now we have a lot of momentum in South Columbus between Synovus Park, Columbus Tech Vector Center, the streetscape in South Lumpkin. Those are huge economic development investments, and we have got to start kind of filling those in. So I'm really interested in helping that. I've been learning a lot about housing affordability and attainability, and there's really kind of folks experiencing homelessness. There's folks that are on vouchers that can't get a place that, you know, it's more expensive than their voucher provides. And there's folks that are working and have a full-time salary but just cannot close that gap to get a house because it's too expensive. So there's housing stock issues all across Columbus. United Way just had Georgia Tech provide a study, which was very helpful. But how do we get all of the entities that are dealing with, from homelessness to affordable housing, kind of in the same room on a strategy to help start moving the needle on that? That's really important to me. Public safety, top of mind for everybody. We all want to live in a place that we feel safe to go to the grocery store, to walk in our neighborhood, etc. CPD is making great advancements on that. But also things like the crime prevention grants, Cure Violence. We've got to continue to work in the neighborhood. So continuing to support that. And the last one is, and this kind of hits close to home with all my work, it's just maintenance. Trail maintenance, park maintenance, road maintenance. If we're going to build a judicial center or an aquatic center, let's build in some long-term maintenance funding, so we're not going back to the citizens for more taxpayer dollars in a few decades. So those are kind of my 4 main areas that I really want to focus on.
And since with your background with working with Uptown,
yeah,
how's downtown or Uptown? We used to call it downtown when I was a kid. Now it's Uptown. How has that changed, and how do you see that changing moving forward?
Yeah, I think downtown is doing really, really well. I do think it is full of small local businesses, and we've got to continue to make efficiencies within the city government that allow more local businesses to open, and it's easier. So that's one thing kind of downtown I'd like to see more of. I think the BID and Uptown Columbus Inc. do a fantastic job with keeping it clean and safe and active. I think from a larger economic development perspective, Uptown is sort of maxed out. So let's start developing elsewhere. Let's keep moving east into the Liberty District. Let's keep moving south into South Columbus and all the way to Fort Benning, even north in the Bibb City.
Yeah, people always say there needs to be more to do in Columbus, downtown, all around the city.
Yeah.
And I think they're looking for those kinds of venues. Almost out of time, Becca, but just want to give you the opportunity to, just give us one last pitch as to why voters should vote for you come Election Day.
Yeah. So again, I'll say that I truly love this city, and I think everybody running does in some capacity for sure. But you also have to have the tangible work experience to get things done. You know how to work together. You know how to do research and make decisions that are hard, but also report those back to the constituents. And I think my professional work history shows that. If you've ever worked with me or seen me at a ribbon cutting or something, I think that's the type of person I am. And I just think I'm the most qualified candidate for District 7. And I want an opportunity to prove that to everybody in District 7.
Thanks to all the candidates in the running for Columbus City Council District 7. Your chance to send one of them to City Hall comes on Election Day, May 19th. For more on all of the City Council races and to hear from the candidates, be sure to download our WTVM mobile news app or go to WTVM.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Barbara Goche. We'll see you next time on The Record.